And here is our center block, the star of the show, Mary and Joseph, baby Jesus in the stable. So precious. Let's go sew this, and then we'll get to put our quilt together.
I hope y'all are making this quilt with me, because I've made a lot of quilts over the years, but this is definitely one of my favorites, and it's super beginner friendly. There's not a lot of pieces, but there's a ton of detail. It's something that you can do if you have thought about applique, but you've been intimidated by it. This is the project for you, I promise. I cut out all of my pieces, and listen, use your scraps. You have scraps that will make all of this work, or most of it anyway. And if you have something specific you want, then buy that piece of fabric. But you can use your scraps for this, especially your larger pieces of scraps that are too big to throw away but too small to really do anything with. They are perfect for this project. So I cut my pieces out. I laid them on my blocks. I did lay all of my blocks out before I started to make sure that I liked the way that all of the fabrics went together. And then I pinned them down. Now, I don't use any Wonder Under or Heat and Bond or anything behind mine. I'm not saying that you can't or that you shouldn't. I actually think it's a great idea, but I didn't even know that stuff existed when I started doing this 20 years ago. This love of applique started because I had a little fella and I wanted all the cute things, but I couldn't afford a monogram machine, and let's be honest, I couldn't afford to pay somebody to do it anyway. I was young and broke like all of the new parents out there. They don't know they're supposed to be broke, but they are, and it's the best life, y'all. So many good memories. But anyway, I wanted to make all the things, so I thought, well, let me just try this and see, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, what have I lost? A little bit of time. So I did, and here we are 23 years later, appliquing all the things. So I've cut my pieces out, I've laid them on my piece of fabric, I pinned them down, and now I'm just sewing. Now, I don't have nearly as many pins as I should have in my stuff because I've been doing this for a really long time, and sometimes I get overly confident. But if you take a look at Joseph, in the end, he's got a pucker in him where I didn't have enough pins. So add a lot of pins, and that will take care of the puckering. You just want to make sure that your fabric doesn't move when you're sewing, which is what I didn't do. But it's fine, and once it's quilted, it's going to be fluffy, and you're not going to be able to tell anyway. So it doesn't bother me. But if it bothers you, definitely add some more pins or get some Heat and Bond or Wonder Under. I'm sewing mine on with a zigzag stitch, just factory settings. I do not change the settings on my sewing machine because if I did, I could never remember to change them back. So that's not something I do. I just put it on zigzag, and whatever the factory settings are is what I use. And I'm going around each piece 2 times. So I'm sewing it and then I'm sewing it again. And I am changing the thread color to match the color of whatever piece of fabric it is that I'm appliquing. Like when I'm doing the stable, I'm using brown, and then when I'm doing Mary's dress, I'm using red. When I'm doing Jesus's blanket, I'm doing green. But if I wanted to do this and I only had white thread, you know what I'd do? I'd use white thread. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.